Alright, so inshallah, carrying on, we are talking about some of the signs of Qiyamah, what's going to happen towards the ends of times. We have covered so far many of the minor signs and things which have already taken place. Right? So far up till now, those things that have already happened, they've already been buried in history. We've covered a lot of those things that have already happened. Now, inshallah, we're going to get into further topics which were not one-time incidents, that it happened once and then it's over. The next categories of signs which we're going to be covering, inshallah, are signs that will become like trends. Meaning, it's not going to happen once and then it's finished. It's going to occur, it's going to take place, and it'll continue happening. It's going to continue, all the way till the time when finally the major signs will happen. Mahdi will come, Dajjal will come, and these trends, they're going to be continuous, right? So the first one that we see is Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He narrates from the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لا تقوم الساعة حتى تظهر الفتن ويكثر الكذب وتتقارب الأسواق ويتقارب الزمان ويكثر الحرج. قيل وما الحرج قال القتل. So in this hadith, the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he has mentioned that Qiyamah will not take place until these things happen. And the first one that he mentioned is that trials and tribulations, difficulties upon people will become very, very rampant. It will become very, very manifest. Just difficulties, trials, tribulations, different tests. And as we know, fitna and tests, they come in many different shapes and forms. For some people, their test could be sickness. For some people, their fitna, their trial, their tribulation could be their government. For some people, their trial or tribulation is their families. For some people, their trial or tribulation is money, health. Fitna can be in many different shapes and forms. But the Messenger ﷺ is mentioning here that towards the ends of times, fitna and tribulations will be so rampant. So rampant. Right? And we're going to learn just now what types of things people will say at that time. How severe will these tribulations be? Right? So let's take a look what the Messenger ﷺ, what exactly did he say? تَجِيءُ الْفِتْنَةِ فيقول المؤمن هذه مهلكتي هذه مهلكتي ثم تنكشف وتجيء الفتنة فيقول المؤمن هذه. The Prophet ﷺ says that the fitnas will come so severe that a person will say, this trial that has come, this is the one that's going to destroy me. This is the one that's going to finish me. There's no way that I'm going to get past this. I'm going to end up perishing in this fitna. This trial or tribulation, this is the one that I'm going to die in. ثُمَّ تَنْكَشِفْ. Whatever happens, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decree will be such that calamity or difficulty or tribulation will pass. The next one will come. And then again the person will say, هذه. No, that one passed. This one for sure, this is the last. There's no way that I can get past this one. And then that one will also pass him by. And one by one, trials and tribulations will continue to come on this person. In general, right? Not on a single person, not on a few people. In general, life will be very, very difficult and people will be placed in very, very stringent conditions. And this is why we must always remember, respected listeners, my dear brothers and sisters, always remember your afiyah, your goodness that you're in right now. It's not because of you. It's not because of your good health. It's not because of your, mashallah, your youth and your strength. It's not because of your money. It's not because of your job. Afiyah and goodness, it only comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when Allah decides, it doesn't matter how good your health is. It doesn't matter how good your job is, your wealth, your family, people who are protecting, it doesn't matter any of those things. When the decree of Allah comes, the trials will come with them as well. So a person will think like this. This is the one that's going to finish me off, and then it's going to go away. Next one comes, I'm going to die in this one. Next one will come, this is the final one. Each one will keep coming, one by one upon this person. In another hadith, Imam Tirmidhi quotes from Anas radiyallahu anhu, the description of these trials and tribulations are given, كَقِطَعِ اللَّيْلِ الْمُظْلِمِ, like chunks and pieces of a dark night. Right? Imagine, very extremely dark night. You take chunks and pieces out of that nighttime and you add them layer upon layer, one on top of the other on top of the other. You get this extreme darkness. That's how the tribulations will be upon a person. Extremely dark times. And how difficult will these times be? How serious will these times be? يُصْبِحُ الرَّجُلُ فِيهَا مُؤْمِنًا وَيُمْسِي كَافِرًا. In those days, a person will wake up in the morning as a believer. Evening time will come, the person will be a disbeliever. Within a day's time. وَيُمْسِي الرَّجُلُ مُؤْمِنًا وَيُصْبِحُ كَافِرًا. And opposite. Person will enter the evening time, full believer, full iman. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. By the time the morning comes, the person will have exited the fold of Islam. That's how the tribulations will come. You know, and subhanallah, the Prophet ﷺ went on, يَبِيعُ أَقْوَامٌ دِينَهُمْ بِعَرَضٍ مِّنَ الدُّنْيَا. People at that time will be such, they will sell their deen just for a small portion of dunya. The despicable dunya, small portion which holds no value, they will sell their deen in total. They will sell their akhirah completely just for a few bits and pieces of this dunya. They'll be willing to sell it all. Now, respected listeners, this time of tribulation, when people will be put into tests, you can imagine today we see what's happening with youth. It's very, very imaginable that a person, he starts off his night as a believer. The temptations and tribulations that come before him or her. There's drugs, there's women, there's men, there's this, there's that, there's the club. Next thing you know, they spend the night in this, they spend the night in that. By the time the morning comes, person doesn't know what happened to them. Where did I end up? How did I come here? What led to what, to what, and then eventually now I'm here. I've left completely the fold of Islam. You know, we've heard people saying that subhanallah, how shaitan works on a person. How shaitan is like a mu'min is like a nice, strong building. And what does shaitan do? He'll break one brick from this building. You're still a believer, you're still strong, you're a tall, but what does shaitan do? He makes you feel weak. So he'll break another brick. He'll break a third, he'll break a fourth, he'll break a fifth. Eventually, one whole floor from that big building is down now. And like this, the whole building will eventually collapse. And that's how the shaitan works. He makes you not realize who you are and what you have. Right? So subhanallah, people have said, you know, we've gone out, we've done bad things, we've been in the state of intoxication. Next thing you know, the food comes, and it's pepperoni pizza. So then what does the person say? You already drank, you already spent the night in the club, what is pepperoni going to do to you now? Just eat the pepperoni. Next thing comes, well just do it, you've already fell this deep. You're already waist deep, just go neck deep now. Now that you're neck deep, just completely drown yourself. Like this, the night time a person will be a believer. By the morning, they'll completely have exited the fold of Islam. Sold, completely gone. They've sold their souls to shaitan. They've sold their soul completely. From A to Z, they've made a complete 180-degree turn. Nighttime believer, morning time, he's gone. Morning time believer, by nighttime, gone. Such will be the trials and tribulations towards the ends of times. Abu Musa Ash'ari radiyallahu anhu, he narrates another hadith. This is quoted in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad rahimahullah. The trials and tribulations towards the ends of time will be so severe. In some narrations it's mentioned, يَكْثُرُ الْحَرْجُ. And the people asked, what is harj? And the Prophet ﷺ explained that harj, it means qatl, murder, killing, people dying, people being killed. This will become very, very rampant. People's blood will become very, very cheap. Nobody will care that a life, something that is so sanctified, something that's so important and valuable, Allah gives somebody a life. What does that mean? What happens in the womb to a fetus? Allah looks after that fetus. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cares for it. Allah gives it its nutrition. Allah looks after it and allows it to grow from stage to stage. In the Quran, we see Allah tells insan about the different stages of mankind, the different stages of that baby in the womb. Why? Why does Allah mention this? To show how great Allah is and to show how much honor human beings have. You didn't just form like that out of nowhere. Allah gave His special attention to every human being. Every human being was gazed upon with Allah's gaze of mercy, that they will be created. مُخَلَّقَةٍ وَغَيْرِ مُخَلَّقَةٍ. The angels, they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is this fetus going to live or is it not going to live? Allah passes the decree. مُخَلَّقَةٍ. This fetus will live. You make sure that it's given its life. And the angels fulfill the role. Life, this is something that Allah has decreed. When the ends of times come, people will be so selfish. People will have lost their honor and dignity to such a degree that that sanctified life, they will spill the blood of that sanctified life without any care. يَكْثُرُ الْحَرْجِ. It's going to be rampant. You will see it everywhere. People will not care. And subhanAllah, if you look today, literally, killing people has become like a video game. Look what happens in a drone strike. What happens in a drone strike? It's just like a video game. The person is sitting thousands of miles away. He's got his controller in his hand. He looks like he's playing a video game. But in reality, what's happening? Those single bombs, they're taking the lives of people's children. They're taking the lives of people's parents. They're taking the lives of people's brothers. They're taking the lives of people's sisters. They're completely destroying villages, ruining people's lives. All with what? With the click of a button. That's how rampant and easy these great trials have become today. Abu Musa Ash'ari narrates, the Prophet ﷺ said, when this killing becomes so rampant, يَقْتُلُ الرَّجُلُ جَارَهُ وَيَقْتُلُ أَخَاهُ. A person will kill their own neighbor. They'll kill their own brother. They'll kill their own uncle. They'll kill their own cousin. Absolutely no care for this honorable thing which Allah has created, the honorable thing of life. And every trial and tribulation that comes, the Prophet ﷺ said, مُنذُ كَانَتِ الدُّنْيَا. There is no tribulation from the time that the dunya was created. لا صغيرة ولا كبيرة أو كما قال. A small tribulation or a great tribulation. It doesn't matter what kind that it is. إِلَّا لِفِتْنَةِ الدَّجَّالِ. لِفِتْنَةِ الدَّجَّالِ. It is there as a, you can say, a prelude. It's there as a introduction for the biggest fitna that will come, which is the Dajjal. All of these trials and tribulations, that's what they're there for. They are just the intro to the biggest fitna that is coming. Now, respected listeners, when we think of fitna, some of us, we think of fitna as something that's small. It's not really something that's that important. Okay, fitna is there. Yeah, we know. Okay, so what? Let's move on to the next thing. Fitna is something that is so serious. If you look at the companions, the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum, one time when the Prophet ﷺ ascended the mimbar, and he was speaking about some of these things, about the fitan, the trials, the tribulations. Sayyidina Anas bin Malik radiyallahu anhu, he narrates this hadith, it's in Bukhari. He says when the Prophet ﷺ got up to speak about these things, he says, نَظَرْتُ يَمِينًا وَشِمَالًا. He was looking to his right, he was looking to his left, he was looking around to see the reaction of the people around him. the other Sahaba radiallahu anhum, what were they doing during this time? So he says when he looked around, كُلُّ رَجُلٍ لَافٌ رَأْسَهُ فِي ثَوْبِهِ يَبْكِي عَائِذًا بِاللَّهِ مِنْ شَرِّ الْفِتَنِ. He said, every person that I saw to my right, every person that I saw to my left, they had their faces tucked into their shirts. Right? So to say, like if you have a long opening here, and you're covering your face like this. Covering your face. Each one of them was covering their face in their shirts with tears coming down. Each one of them was crying. عَائِذًا بِاللَّهِ مِنْ شَرِّ الْفِتَنِ. Seeking refuge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evil of tribulations. Tribulations is not a joke. Tribulations are not something that is small. These tests and trials, it's something that is very, very serious. And that is why the Messenger alayhi salam, he said, تَعَوَّذُوا بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الْفِتَنِ. He instructed us, seek Allah's refuge from trials and tribulations. Don't just sit there and think, if they come, I'll deal with it. No, you have to ask Allah for help. You have to seek protection. Right? Today, with everything, people are looking to seek protection for themselves. Right? You're driving a car, you have to get insurance. Watch out, protect yourself. You could get in trouble. Right? Insurance for your house. There could be an earthquake. There could be, right? People are always looking for ways to protect themselves. Life insurance, car insurance, fire insurance, everything insurance, right? Why all of this? To protect yourself. The Prophet ﷺ said, ask Allah's protection from what? From the trials when they come. From tribulations. Tribulations in yourself, tribulations in your family, tribulations in your religion, in your deen, tribulations in all aspects. You must ask Allah for safety from them. And remember also, tribulations, it doesn't always mean that it's in negative things. Disease, car accident. No, tribulation is also in good things. Dear brothers and sisters, tribulations, your good health is a tribulation for you. It's a test. The wealth, the jobs, the good things that Allah has given you, that's also a tribulation, that's a test. The good conditions that surround you, that's also a test. Allah is seeing, what are you going to do with that goodness that I've given you? With your good health, are you going to use it in sin? Or will you use that good health in my path? Will you use that good health to wake up for Fajr? Will you use that good health so that you can pray to me at Tahajjud time? Or are you going to use that good health and that strength, you're going to use it in bad? You're going to use it to go beat people up. You're going to go use it to engage in haram relationships. What are you going to use that goodness in? Seek Allah's protection from trials and tribulations. This is something that is very, very important. The Prophet ﷺ said, تَعَوَّذُوا بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الْفِتَنِ مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا وَمَا بَطَنَ. Seek Allah's protection from trials and tribulations. That which is apparent from it and that which is hidden. Some tribulations, they're very apparent. You can see them. You know that they're there. And some tribulations, they're hidden from us. You can't even tell. You don't even know that you're in a tribulation. But you're being tested. That which is open and that which is hidden. Seek Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His protection. Right? Now during these times of fitan, killings, murders, temptations, sins, everything is just going berserk. Everything is just chaos all around you. What do you do in this time? The Prophet ﷺ has given us guidelines. From the hadith of Sahih Muslim, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَلْتَأْتِهِ مَنِيَّتُهُ وَهُوَ يُؤْمِنُ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. Your death should come to you while you are firm on what? You are firm in your faith in Allah, firm in your faith in the belief of the akhirah. The more you strengthen your iman, the more this is a shield and protection when the trials and tribulations come. The more you strengthen your iman, the more you will be ready at the times of trials and tribulations. You know, subhanAllah, you have people, they say, when the ends of times come, I'm ready, brother. You know, I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna be there. And subhanAllah, tomorrow, Habibi, tomorrow, 6 a.m. is Salatul Fajr. What happens then? You can bench press, How much can you bench press? 2 big plates on each side. MashaAllah, muscles are bulging out. But when Fajr comes, that blanket, it's so light, 2 pounds. You cannot bench press it off your chest. It's too heavy, all of a sudden. If you want to really test how much you love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how much you will do in the ends of times, and when that times come, and then things will get better, and then I'll wake up, and no. See how much you do now. That's how you will be then. See how serious you are now, and compare yourself to that time, right? And inshallah, all of us, myself included, inshallah, this is a reminder that right now when we're in a state of, for most of us here, we're in a state of goodness, We're in a state of afiyah, goodness, protection. Don't take it don't take advantage of that. Take it as a sign that right now things are good. It's not always going to be that way. Towards the akhirul zaman, difficulties will come. I need to prepare myself for that. I need to get myself ready. I need to train myself. I need to wake up for salah. I need to protect myself from sin. I need to start doing good things. I need to disconnect and disassociate myself from the temptations of this dunya. Right? Subhanallah, if right now temptations of this dunya are getting the better of us, what's going to happen when Dajjal is right in front of you? What's going to suddenly change? If you can't control your eyes now from the things that are here, when Dajjal brings his things in front of you, what's the difference? You can't stop yourself now. What's going to make you stop at that time? Dajjal will have all of his nice things in front of you. What is that force that will make you stop? It's your iman. The iman needs to be started from now. So, that's the first thing. Second thing, in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Al-ibadatu fil fitnati kal-hijrati ilayya." That when the fitnas come, to make ibadah during that time, to accustom yourself, habituate yourself towards worship. Your heart finds peace and comfort in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what will help you at that time. And the reward of that is such, the Prophet ﷺ said, it's like you're making hijrah, you're doing the migration towards me. Imagine. Hijrah is over, right? When did hijrah take place? 1400 years ago. You can't do hijrah now, it's done. But the reward of hijrah you can still get, according to this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. That in the time of fitna, in the time of trials and tribulations, don't fall into depression. Don't tell yourself that it's all over and you can't do anything now. No, worship Allah, strengthen your iman, protect yourself, and do what's right. And inshallah, at that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you and assist you at that time. These trials and tribulations that will come, it's not something that's small. It's not something that's a joke. It's mentioned, the Prophet ﷺ said that when those trials and tribulations come, the people will wish يَتَمَنَّوْنَ فِيهِ الدَّجَّالِ أو كما قال عليه السلام. They will wish, man, Dajjal should just come right now. Dajjal, the Antichrist, he should just be here right now. This tribulations that we're going through, this is too much. We can't handle this. We hope that Dajjal just comes right now and everything is finished off. Can you imagine? Right now, when we think of Dajjal, what are we thinking? Oh man, I hope he doesn't come anytime soon. I'm not ready. Right? All those difficult times, we're not ready for all that. We hope it doesn't happen anytime soon. But as you're getting closer towards Qiyamah, the difficulties will be so hard. The difficulties will be so severe. People will say, Dajjal, please come. Open invitation. We want you to come now because we want this to be over. يَمُرُّ الرَّجُلُ عَلَى الْقَبْرِ. It's mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. A person will pass by a grave. فَيَتَمَرَّغُ عَلَيْهِ. He will basically lay down on the grave. Get all dusty on top of a person's grave. And what will he say? يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ مَكَانَ صَاحِبِ هَذَا الْقَبْرِ. If only I could be in the place of the occupant of this grave. Can you imagine? If only I could be in the place of the occupant of this grave. Today we run from death. Nobody wishes death. Something we're very, very scared of. We want to live as long as possible. In those times, tribulations will be so severe. People will hope for death. People will wish for death. the tribulations will be so severe at that time. And at the same time, when tribulations are hard, and when people are turning away from Islam, right? The Prophet ﷺ said that being a good Muslim in the times of fitna, it's so difficult. كَالْقَابِضِ عَلَى الْجَمْرِ. It's like a person holding a burning coal. Can you imagine? In the times of fitna and tribulation and difficulty, to be an upright Muslim, it's like a man holding a burning hot coal in their hand. This hadith is mentioned in Tirmidhi. So, today this is what we see. For a youngster to stay on the right path, he's burning inside. For a young person to remain steadfast, they're burning inside. It's like they're holding on to a hot coal. From all sides, temptations. From all sides, people might be insulting them, saying bad things about them, right? But you gotta be firm. You have to stay strong. You have to go through that pain. To be an upright Muslim without feeling that pain, without feeling that difficulty of giving an effort, of striving, your iman will not grow. It's just like working out. What do they say when you're working out? No pain, no gain, right? The only time your muscles are going to get stronger is when you rip them up. When you start hurting. You're pumping, your muscles start burning. That's when you're actually building. Your iman is the same way. If you want to build your iman, you have to feel that burn. You have to feel that mujahada, that bit of steadfastness, that bit of sacrifice that you're giving for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all of this is basically, it's preparation for getting ready for the difficult times. And remember, with all of the difficulties, the rewards are even greater. With the difficulties, the rewards are even greater. The Prophet ﷺ said, for the times of fitna, a person who remains steadfast, فَلَهُ أَجْرُ خَمْسِينَ شَهِيدًا مِنْكُمْ. That person will get the reward of 50 martyrs. 50 martyrs, the reward will be written for you. Right? So yes, it burns holding a hot coal. It burns, it's painful. You have to give a lot of steadfastness. You have to give a lot of sacrifice. But the rewards are very, very, very great for the people who do this, right? Going on to the next one, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned يَتَقَارَبُ الزَّمَانِ. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that time will become close. Time will become near. What does that mean? There's another hadith quoted by Imam Tirmidhi rahimahullah, where the Prophet ﷺ basically said, Qiyamah will not take place until time comes near. And what does that mean? That means that a year will become like a month. That's how fast it'll go. A month will become like a week. A week will become, right, like a day. And a day will become just like an hour. Time will move very, very quickly, right? And subhanallah, look what you see today. What happened in the world today? You see people, they've moved from other countries, they've come to America for a better life. Give them 3, 4, 5 years, and what do they say? You know what? Back in my hometown where I came from, yeah, we didn't have luxuries like what we have here, right? We didn't have luxuries and nice big homes and cars and everything. Yeah, maybe we ride on a donkey here and there. Our homes have some mud, no problem. But what's the difference? The difference is, back home, I had time. I can spend time with my family. I can spend time with my kids. I can spend time with my parents. You're happy. You have time to think. Now that I've come to this country, working. Morning work, evening work. Come home, work, go to sleep, work. Sleep, work, wake up, work. All the time on your mind is work. Money. People have lost their time. They've lost their lives. 40, 50, 60 years working. Finally, by the time you finish working, you're too old to enjoy the rest of your life. Time becomes extremely short. If you look at the people of the past, how much barakah Allah put in their time. Right? Look at all these books behind. Subhanallah, some of these people, they lived only till 40 years. They lived till 40, they written hundreds of books. Where did they get the time? Their days also had 24 hours. But what was the difference? They had barakah. Allah lengthened and made time spacious for them. But as you get closer and closer towards the ends of times, time starts to become condensed. The barakah becomes very, very decreased. We all know how it is. Look at when 1 year passes. Every, what do you call? When the new year comes? Yeah, New Year's. New Year's resolutions. How fast it comes. You think, oh my God, New Year already? It was just 2019. New Year's already coming, 2020, 2021, 2022. Passes. Life becomes extremely, extremely quick. Some ulama have mentioned that the shortening of time becoming short, what this actually means is travels. So back in the days, you're traveling from Makkah to Medina, you're traveling from Iraq to Yemen, for example. How would you travel normally? You're going to be on a horse, you're going to be on a camel, you're going to be walking sometimes. So that journey is going to be very, very long. Right? SubhanAllah, you hear the stories of people that used to go for Hajj in the past. They would start their journeys of Hajj a short time after the current Hajj is over. Imagine. Hajj is just finished now, and now they're getting ready. They're making preparations. Oh, next Hajj, it's time for me to go. Why? Because sometimes they're on ships, they're in the ocean, they're at sea. The journey to reach Makkah, sometimes 6 months for them, 7 months, 8 months. They're traveling in the land, in the sea, in the ocean. But now, how fast is the journey? You want to get from here to LA? MashaAllah, get in your car, 5-6 hours, you're there. You take a flight? 30-40 minutes, you're already there. يَتَقَارَبُ الزَّمَانِ. Time will become near. Time will become short. This is what some ulama have said. So, 2 interpretations I've given you. One is that barakah in time will be lost. A year will be like passing like a month. Suddenly, quickly. You know, you enjoyed your youth, you're 10, 11, 12. Next thing you know, you're looking in the mirror and your hairs are white. Subhanallah, what happened? My hair was just black a few moments ago. Now all of a sudden it's completely gray. And second interpretation is that Prophet ﷺ was giving an indication towards the shortness of travel. Carrying on, the Prophet ﷺ, he mentions the next sign. لا تقوم الساعة حتى يقبض العلم وتكثر الزلازل ويتقارب الزمان وتظهر الفتن. Here the Prophet ﷺ mentions 2 different signs. This hadith is from Bukhari. Prophet ﷺ mentions here that knowledge will be taken away. Knowledge will be uplifted. It will be taken away. In another hadith, لا يبقى من القرآن إلا رسمه. From the Quran, you won't see anything except the text. You won't see the actual implementation. You won't see the inner depths of people acting on the Quran. You'll just see its script. You'll see its text. That's it. Nothing more than that. That's all that's going to be there. Right? Like in the past, how in some countries, when they started to ban Islam, countries like Uzbekistan, countries like Turkey, when people were getting scared of Islam spreading too fast, literally, you couldn't keep a Quran in your house. You would have to go to the masjid, and the Quran would be like in a glass case. And you would have to get permission. And they would make it like a big scene just to show you so you can look inside and see the Quran. Nothing will remain of the Quran except its writing. The implementation and the wording and all these things will be gone. And eventually the time will come where even the wording will be uplifted. يُقْبَضُ الْعِلْمِ. Knowledge will be uplifted. Ignorance will prevail amongst people. And the Prophet ﷺ has mentioned that إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَقْبِضُ الْعِلْمَ إِنْتِزَاعًا يَنْتَزِعُهُ مِنَ النَّاسِ. Allah will not take knowledge from people, from the world, as a snatching away. That suddenly knowledge is everywhere and then suddenly it just gets snatched up away. وَلَكِنْ يَقْبِضُ الْعِلْمَ بِقَبْضِ الْعُلَمَاءِ. Allah will remove knowledge from the earth by taking ulama, by taking the scholars, by taking the carriers of knowledge. When Allah takes these people away, who will remain behind? The Prophet ﷺ said, اتَّخَذَ النَّاسُ رُؤُوسًا جُهَّالًا. After this, people will take as their leaders completely ignorant folks. And they will give fatwas, and they will encourage people, and they will teach people. فَضَلُّوا وَأَضَلُّوا. They themselves will become misguided, and they will deceive and misguide others as well. They themselves will go on the wrong path, and they will also lead others onto the wrong path. Right? So from this hadith we learn that the actual taking of knowledge and the spread of ignorance is when Allah will take the scholars. And subhanAllah, if you just look in the past year, how many giants of this ummah, when it comes to knowledge, how many of them have been taken away from us? Literally, the heart just trembles when you see how many giants were lost. Right? Almost every other week, every other month, we're hearing the news of great senior scholars. They're slowly leaving us. Right? Giants, which I don't think anybody can replace them and step in their shoes and fulfill that vacuum that's been left behind. Right? If you look in the previous zamana, if you look in the previous times, literally in our ummah, you used to have, and this is not a long time ago, you know, some people, we start to get depressed and we think Islam is, you know, being ridiculed throughout the world, and Islam is going down, and we're being subjected to so much oppression all around the world, and this has been happening for way too long, and there's no way that we can get... Just a few years ago, the Ottoman Empire was there. Just a few years ago, we were basically leading the entire world with the Ottoman Empire in the early 1900s. Not too long ago. And you should never feel that there's no hope. This was just a few years ago when all of these good things were happening. Ulama were present. Lots of knowledge was being spread in all aspects of life. Peace. All of these things happened. So don't think that it can't happen again. So I was mentioning the uplifting of knowledge in those times, and also in recent times, in our recent past. There were literally, from the time a child is 9, 10 years old, they start learning. MashaAllah, become hafiz of Quran, 11, 12 years old, they're learning, they know everything. Like books nowadays that scholars memorize. Books that scholars memorize today. In those times you would see people, like they would say, like the normal people who sell chai in the streets. You know, he's got a little cart and he's selling chai, and they're talking amongst each other and they're repeating these verses of these complex books. They're quoting the text to each other. Young people, all of them, hafiz of Quran. It's a complete norm. And some places still today, it's very normal that almost majority of the people, they're hufaz of Quran. They memorize. That's part of their life. That's part of their culture. That's part of who they are. Right? And subhanAllah, if you look today at what direction we are headed, and this is not to be negative. This is to spark within us motivation. This is not to be negative and put people down. This is to spark motivation in all of us. Right? If you look today, the amount that people know of dunya in comparison with the amount that they know of their deen, what a discrepancy you'll see. What a discrepancy you'll see. You know, people, they love Kobe Bryant. They know Kobe Bryant, his name, his middle name, his children's name, his parents' name, everything about him, what year he was drafted, everything from A to Z. They'll tell you the whole guy's history. Right? And okay, Kobe, at least he's not known for something bad, right? He's a basketball player. Okay, not that bad. But some of these people, they're known for complete rubbish. And our youth, we know every single detail about their lives. Right? And subhanAllah, every new thing that comes out, you see on the news. Oh, mashallah, so-and-so celebrity, they bought a new car. Oh, they got a new jacket, and you have to show the pictures everywhere. Oh, they bought a new puppy, you have to show the pictures everywhere. Do we care about those things? Why is that important to us? Right? You know about the puppy of so-and-so, but we don't know the companions of the Prophet ﷺ? What kind of aql is that? What type of analogy is this? Right? So it's very, very important that we build ourselves. We build ourselves, we build the people around us, right? Don't become like the stray sheep that can easily be picked up by the wolves that are around us. Build yourself to be a strong sheep. Stay with the flock. Stay with scholars. Stay with good people. Learn, teach, be in the company and in the environment of constantly learning, equipping yourself with knowledge. Another sign that's mentioned is that towards the ends of times, the masajid, there will not be anyone to lead the salah. Nobody will know how. So, iqamah is given, or who knows, maybe they won't even know iqamah. Time for salah comes, and literally, people will push one another. You go forward. Oh, no, it's okay, you go. Oh, it's okay, you go. I'm a little bit tired today. It's okay, you go. Oh, you're a nice guy, go ahead. It's not that you're a nice guy or the other guy's tired. It's because what? Nobody will know how to lead the salah. Knowledge will be completely uplifted. Right? So preserve your knowledge, preserve your faith, preserve your iman by learning and teaching, surrounding yourself in this environment. لا تقوم الساعة, the day of Qiyamah will not come until it is not said in the earth, Allah, Allah. What does that mean? As long as people are in the earth and they're saying Allah, Allah, Qiyamah is not going to come. Qiyamah will come only at that time when nobody will be left even to take Allah's name. Right? So, inshallah, we should be amongst the people in our circles, in our homes, in our gatherings. We should constantly have قال الله وقال الرسول. Allah said this, Allah's Messenger said this. This is the way to do this. This is the way to do that. Constantly learning and teaching. And inshallah, this will be a great source of barakah for all of us. Inshallah, we're going to end here before